Hi guys, and welcome to the level 200 to 300 Mage guide for both Sorcerers and Druids. So we begin with some assumptions that are always we share before starting the guide. So obviously I'm assuming premium account, I'm assuming some knowledge experience with the game. If you have any questions, if something's not clear, just leave a comment and I'll do my best to answer. I'm assuming average magic level for your level. I think around 90 in this level range. Maybe maybe around level 300 you want to be looking at like magic level 90. At level 200, probably a little lower, maybe like high 70s, low 80s. Obviously, you need some budget and money for equipment, spells, supplies, imbues, etc. And note, my guides are always primarily aimed at solo players. So first of all, begin with the wheel. This is exactly the same stuff we had in the level 130 to level 200 guide, because in this level range, still the only really worthwhile thing is lesser gems with HP. At level 300 plus is when you get your first revelation perk, and that's when it gets interesting. But we'll talk about that in the level 300 plus guide if we ever get there. But until level 300, still go for your lesser gems with HP in the upper left and lower right quadrants. Moving on, imbuements. At this point, you kind of need to just have a full imbuement setup. So that means 2 times powerful void, 1 times powerful strike, and 1 times powerful epiphany. And also, sorry, I forgot about that one. You also at this level probably want to have 1 times powerful vampirism in armor. Yeah, so you definitely you want to have those four. And then in addition, if it's possible and worthwhile, you could have a protection imbuement in the armor if the armor has 2 imbue slots, and in the shield if your shield has an imbue slot. So something to consider, but you definitely want to be having basically those 5 imbuements. Yeah, those 4 different imbuements, 5 total. This is like your default setup that you want to be running basically at all times. The powerful strike, it will depend on your weapon because certain weapons have like built-in crit. And then you're not able to imbue it with crit. So, for example, or a little bit different. You'll have like a weapon with like intricate crit built into the weapon, and then you imbue it with void and vampirism, or you have a weapon with a built-in vampirism, in which case you imbue it with void and crit, etc., etc. So you kind of want to have most weapons, recommended weapons in this level range, have like a half an imbuement built into it through the weapon proficiency. So you want to make sure to imbue the other 2 imbuements that are not in the proficiency into that weapon. I hope that makes sense. Sorry, a little bit confusing. Um, and moving on, hang on, let me just re-add this vampirism because I didn't have it on this slide either. So let me add that here. Yeah, so this is the table for that. And moving on to the equipment. So as far as the equipment goes, this is the level range where you're really starting to get a lot of items. There's a really more items in this level range that I can possibly write out in this little table. So I highly recommend you just go to TibiaPal.com/equipment. You filter for the level range and see what makes sense. Like I've just shared some of like the key items you probably want in this level range, but there are more. So if you get these, like Cobra Rod for the Druid is really, really good. Lion Wand for the Mage, for the Sorcerer is really good. Then like Shoulder Plate and Lion Spellbooks are like the 2 sort of default spellbooks I find in this level range. Helmet, Gnome Helmet is amazing. Falcon Sickle at 300 plus is also good. Demon Fang Mask and Dreadfire Headpiece for Druid and Sorcerer also very good. Your Amulet is likely just going to be the Theurgic Amulet. For the armors, you've got the Bear Skin for the Druid, which is really good, and the Midnight Tunic for the Druid. The Dawnfire Sherwani for the Sorcerer is really good. But also, obviously, other armors that you should probably have, but there's just too much to share in here. For your legs, Gnome legs are basically the default legs you're going to be using. Then the Dawnfire Pantaloons and Mutant Bone Kilt for Druid Sorcerer are also good, but the Gnome legs are kind of like the default. Boots, pair of Dreamwalkers is kind of like the default. Then you've got the Stoic X sandals and Alchemist boots, which are also very, very good for the Sorcerer. And the rings are still that, Butterfly ring as your sort of default. But then Ring of Green Plasma or Prismatic Ring, probably the most commonly used ones. And yeah, that's basically the equipment. Again, it's too many items now for me to be able to break down everything. So I do recommend you just check out TibiaPal.com/equipment. It's always updated, going to be updated 5 years from now, so it's going to be more relevant. And yeah, you kind of just need to sort of figure out what's available in your level, what resistances you want, etc., etc. But there's lots and lots of items, so I hope you do have a little bit of budget. Moving on, recommended quests for this level range. A lot of these quests here are maybe a little hard for level 200. So most of these here, almost all of them, are more towards the later end of this level range. So, once most of them have like even level requirement of 250. But the bottom line is you kind of want to start thinking about these and having these in the back of your mind, because a lot of these are like long-term investments for like higher levels to unlock certain respawns, etc. So as soon as you think there is somebody looking for these quests and you can get a team and do them, then I would highly recommend it. You probably want to have a secret library Oberon as well, at least at level 250 slash True Asuras. Those are the two sections of the secret library that you can do in like level 250 or so with a team. So I do kind of recommend it. Don't worry about it too much. You don't need to have these straight away. You can wait until level 300, 350. But you do want to have all of these quests in the back of your mind that you might want to start doing these pretty soon. Moving on, for the EXP spots, now I will say that the level 200 to 250 is not so fun. Like if you see these filtered for like level 300, vast majority of these respawns are level 300 plus, with the one exception of Yalahar Grim Reapers at level 250. So once you can go to Yalahar Grim Reapers, especially as a sorcerer, I don't know about Druid. Druid's still going to be good, but probably not as good as a sorcerer. Sorcerer can do really good results there. Druid, a little bit worse. Other than that, you've got like Bookworld, which is supposedly really good for. I haven't actually tested it, but I've heard good things from many people. Supposed to be very good for mages. Lower Spike is really good as well. Well Iron's kind of okay. But yeah, as you can see, most of these 3KK plus respawns are like level 300 plus. So unfortunately, from level 200 to level 300, unless you're hunting Yalahar Grim Reapers, it's kind of a nasty level range. You're going to be stuck at like Deeper Benut or Oromund West, or even Lava Lurkers still until like level 300, where Hyenas become a little bit more open around level 250, and then where Hyenas are pretty good. But yeah, it's not a nice range. Sorry. If you're a solo mage, this is not a nice range. I I encourage you to try and find some team hunts, like Spectres and stuff in a team hunt are much, much better than solo hunting, but it is what it is. Anyway, all of these hunting suggestions and more, and they're always going to be updated. I'm going to work on them even more in the future. Can be found on TibiaPal.com/hunting. Moving on to the profit spot. Profit spot, you have a few more options here. So as you can see, there's a lot of like level 300 plus spots here, and they're filtered by loot. But you've got like carnivores, which are very, very good for profit. You've got brimstone bugs, which are still very, very good. You've got hyenas, which are pretty profitable. So there's a few options. And if you look at the website and you scroll a little bit further down, there's even more like level 400, 500k profit per hour spots that you can do. So yeah, some options here if you care about profit and you want to be making some money for that equipment. Anyway, this is basically it for the guide. This is what I wanted to showcase today and talk about. If you have any questions, let me know. Currently, I'm not playing any more Mage, so I don't know when the next guide will come. I do want to do the level 300 to 400 and then 400 to 500 at some point, but I do think there may be a little gap before that is published. So sorry in advance. Hopefully this will last you for a little bit. And yeah, if you have any questions, let me know. I'll be happy to answer. And yeah, thank you very much for watching and good luck playing a solo mage. See you in the next one. Bye-bye.